Thank you.
Hey, Nicole, it's so great to see you. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Hello. Thank you for having me. This
I'm
is
so
super.
excited to finally get to talk with you. I know things have been crazy. We were both like with the hurricane and then Halloween and kid stuff. So I'm so excited that this time worked out. And I can't wait to hear a little bit more about like your food allergy journey as a food allergy mom and how this all started for you.
Oh, food allergy journey. I feel like it's been forever. It started out with my daughter. We have three kids. So my oldest, he has no allergies, thank goodness. And then the other two do have allergies. So my daughter, when she was born in 2012, and when she was about 5 months old, I switched her to milk-based formula,
Yeah.
and her poor little body, she broke out in hives
Oh,
everywhere and had a lot of projectile vomiting that had been
oh
going
gosh.
on, and super colicky baby. And we couldn't figure out what was going on until the hives popped up. And then we knew, okay, something is wrong here. And it was really difficult. Not being able to like feed your child was really hard. And of course it happened like right around Christmas. And I called the pediatrician and they're not there. So you call like, the emergency line.
Right, right.
And they tell me just to hold off on feeding her. And I'm like, well, wait, what do
What?
I do? I know. So the
Right.
next day we talked again and came up with a plan and switched her to kind of a safer formula. And we ended up doing some blood work to kind of narrow down what was going on. And she was allergic to milk, eggs, beef, peanut, and coconut.
Oh,
So it was kind of a long list and overwhelming. Um, when she turned about a year old, we went to go see an allergist and did the skin testing and everything. And it confirmed everything that we already knew. And then he sent us on our way, said, see you back in 2 years. And I was like, 2 years? We have to avoid all of these things for 2 years? Like, what? That was kind
yeah,
of like, that was very difficult.
yeah,
And it didn't really sit right with me.
sure.
So I was talking with another mom who is also a food allergy parent, and she recommended we see another allergist, and we did. So we got a second opinion, and I am so glad that we did, because he offered testing every 6 months. And he did that because, their little bodies change so fast, so
Right,
quickly.
right.
And so she grew out of her peanut and coconut within the
Yay.
next year, which was
Yeah,
huge,
yeah,
that just
yeah. So
opened
huge.
up more foods for us to eat and a little less anxiety for me,
Right,
you
right,
know.
right.
So anyway, yeah, that was that was very difficult. But and then fast forward to like what, I guess 7 years later, we had our youngest.
Hmm.
It's our little surprise. And turns out he is allergic to eggs. So when we were, trying new foods, we gave him some eggs and he loved them, but he broke out in hives all over his eyes, couldn't breathe out of his nose. And I knew immediately, because we had already been down this road, thankfully. Not thankfully, but I knew what to do. So yeah, 2 out of 3 kids have food allergies, and I don't
And
know that.
different ones too, or
Well, they're both allergic to eggs.
for both
So
ways.
yeah, Kyla, she's milk, egg, and beef now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Wow, it's a lot to keep
it is.
track of, and it's so much. The learning curve is so steep. I can't imagine how hard and scary that was.
Well, yeah, and 10 years ago, there wasn't anything,
Right,
there
right.
wasn't really anything on the market. Like I had to make everything from scratch, and then learning to bake without milk or eggs is like,
Mm,
what? It just goes against everything, like how I was raised.
right,
you know?
right,
So I had to really, yeah, make some adjustments and learn how to substitute, tweak
yeah,
every recipe.
right, yeah. Is that kind of what inspired the PAL Pantry? was you navigating that difficulty, or was it another part of the journey that inspired the PAL Pantry? Can you tell us more about how that came to be?
Well, I guess it's going through school, really, when school started.
Mm,
We started out in preschool, and that was really difficult. She, you know, she's on the go. She's so active. Like she was ready for preschool like immediately. So, we signed her up and put her in, and she loved it. But when it comes to all the parties and
mm,
all the food and there's so much food that comes into the school. It
right,
made it really difficult.
right.
And in preschool, we didn't really know what to do. Like food allergies were so new then, and the teacher was kind of like, "Tell me what to do. I'm not sure." And when they're young, they're touching everything,
Everything.
and
Mhm.
allergens are just being shared all over. And I think, at one point they were like, well, why don't we set her out in the hallway during mealtime?
Mm.
And at the
Oh.
time, I know at the time, it's like I didn't know what to do. And here I'm thinking, safety of my daughter. Okay, let's do that. And we did it. And it was awful. It was heartbreaking. It was almost like, okay, hurry up and eat so we can go back in. And it's just why everybody's in there enjoying themselves. And I was like, this cannot happen again.
Yeah.
So fast forward to elementary school, my son had already, gone through, he's 2 years older than her. So I kind of had an idea of what we were looking at
Mhm.
when she started school. And I knew there was going to be a lot of food. And so every year I signed up to be room mom, or the room parent so that I could really watch her, because you just have no idea what's coming into that classroom. And if the teacher's not educated on it, it makes it really difficult. And if they're not willing to accommodate,
Right,
really scary.
right.
Um, so every year signed up to be room mom,
Yeah.
which was great because I got to be there with her and having the opportunity to actually do that. My husband works, he runs a restaurant. Food is like our life.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah.
So, so being able to be in the classroom with her was like a blessing, but it was also a lot of work, and trying to make it normal for her. Food activities, things like that was really difficult. About second grade, when she was in second grade, 2019 is when I started the PAL Pantry, and they were doing gingerbread houses with
Mm.
milk cartons.
Oh,
And the teacher fought me on it. It was a whole thing. Um, anyway, a lot has changed since, thankfully. And I can't believe how, like, just the lack of accommodations for food allergy children.
right.
And the students, they just don't have access to safe food in the building.
Mhm.
Some do. Every individual is different, depending on what their allergy is, but they're there for 7 hours a day.
Right,
They have access to safe food. If they, forget their snack or drop their lunch on the floor, they're stuck with nothing, and that's unacceptable.
right, right. That's
So
so
yeah,
oh,
my kids inspired this little pantry.
I love
Absolutely.
that. I love that. Can you tell me, exactly, like, what PAL Pantry is and, what your hopes are for PAL Pantry moving forward?
Yeah, so what it is, it's an emergency allergy friendly snack pantry. It's not meant for everyday use, but it's a backup option for them. Kids are still required to bring in their own food unless they have, something worked out with the cafeteria to where they can go through the lunch line, but 9 times out of 10, they don't eat in the lunchroom. They don't get food from the cafeteria. They bring their own.
Okay,
But this is just a backup option for them. And after seeing how many birthday celebrations happen in the building, how many food activities, rewards, ice cream parties, like it's a lot.
right,
And they can't be included in those things. So this is meant to bring it all together, have something for them so that they can participate with everybody else, because they deserve that. They
right.
do,
They
you
do.
know.
Absolutely.
So,
I love that. And how many PAL pantries do you have at this point?
oh, okay. So we started that one in 2019 and 2020, things got
Yeah.
a little rocky.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to finish the full year. We almost made it.
Mhm.
And then 2021, I didn't do it because I wasn't sure how many kids were going to be there.
Yeah,
So we
sure.
picked it back up a year later and it did really, really well. Usage was up like 50%. And so this fall is the first time I've offered it to new schools in our
That's
county.
awesome.
And we have 5 total.
Wow.
I know,
That's
yay. And
awesome.
I'm working on number 6 and 7 and 8 too. So I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been, I was, 5 was my goal and I made it, just in that first year. I was just hoping to get, that many in, and I'm working on it. It takes some time for people to kind of understand what it is and why it's there, and the importance of it. And I'm grateful for the schools that have taken, that first step, and,
Yeah. Yeah.
bringing awareness to it and supporting those kids, and the education behind it. So yeah, so we've got 5, and a little bit about the pantry, what's in it. So there's like some sweets, there's some salty, like popcorn, things like that in there. There's granola bars, fig bars, things like that. And then there's a celebration bin at the bottom.
I love
I
that.
know, for like birthday parties and things like that. So they can get cookies or Enjoy Life chocolate bar,
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. So,
Oh, I love that.
and
I love
then there's a little extra thing. I haven't really shared this with everybody, but I'll share it. So like the end of the year,
Yeah.
like what do we do with these treats if there's any left over? So in May we have Food Allergy Awareness Week. Well, the whole month. We celebrate the whole month.
Mhm.
So what I do, since that's kind of the end of the school year, so I will pull everything out of the pantry and put together little bags for each
Oh,
kid who signed up to participate, and I'll distribute them around the school.
that's so great. It's so
So
great.
yeah, and the look on their faces when I come through and hand just them
Just them.
a bag, I mean, they just light up with joy. They're like, "What, me?" Like, it's shocking to them because they're not used to that,
Right. Right. Right.
So
They're used to being the ones left out of something and not, yeah, yeah.
I know. So that's probably like, that's it. That's it for me. Like, that's it's
Right.
worth
It's the
every,
cherry on top. That's
exactly.
so great. I love it. I love the whole process of it too, in terms of like you partnering with the school and then the education you provide as you're partnering with the school, and each person you touch is learning a little bit more about food allergy. And with each of those interactions, it's helping to spread awareness and helping to increase understanding of why it's so important to have safe alternatives for kids. And each piece I think is so meaningful. And then for the kids to get to participate in a way that makes them feel special and included, I think it's really special.
Aw, thank you. Thank
And
you.
I just love seeing everything that you post and all that you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. The teachers love this too. Every time I go to each classroom, they thank me for doing
Yeah,
it because they see the look of disappointment on their face,
yeah. And it's
firsthand. They
so
know.
right. And they're so powerless because what can they do? You
I
know?
know.
So
So
I don't know, pie in the sky, but are you ever thinking about how this could be replicated by other people in different communities who want to use like your same like branding, because you've already done so much work and it's so amazing that just the touches that you've put together for the pantries.
yeah, so I'm working on that because I've had ever since I started like an Instagram account for this pantry, I've had people reaching out to me from really all over the country.
Wow.
And it's like, it was great and amazing, but I'm like, how do I get this to them?
Right, right.
So I'm working on kind of a shippable option,
Oh, wow. That would be
you know,
amazing. Yeah,
and then
yeah,
because I've already put together like the permission forms, all the information is there. It's been approved by all the principals, like they're all comfortable with what I've already put together. So if I can just package that up and like ship it,
yeah.
that's kind of what I'm working on right now. So
That would
um,
be amazing.
Yeah, because
tons of
everybody needs
communities
one.
would be interested. And I wonder, I wonder if Etsy would be a cool platform for you to sell it, because people can download the permission forms and stuff as printables, but then that, that money that comes from that can go back into, helping support your work and everything that you're doing.
It's a great idea.
Just a
It's a,
thought, just a thought
yeah.
that
No, I love
that might
that
help
idea.
reach even more people. And then you're not worried about shipping and all of that piece. Um,
Well, they still got to get the snacks and everything. So I was
that's
trying to
true.
do kind of a
Yeah, a whole kit.
box,
Yes, yes.
and it's hard because most clinics are tiny, they're
Hmm.
small,
Hmm.
and it requires a school nurse too, and not every school has a school nurse. So kind of working through those things.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I've gone too far as like just offering safe snack lists to
right.
other schools. Even I'm working on, social events too for the older kids,
Hmm.
like football games, concessions,
Right, right.
like,
Different things that could be sold maybe that they could keep
yeah,
safe.
I mean, offering safe options and why they don't have that in the cafeteria is beyond me, girl, but I am working on that
You're on
too.
it. You're on it. And I have all the faith, Nicole, that this will get done because you are the champion.
Oh,
I
you're
was wondering, like, what do you wish you had known as a food allergy mom starting? Like, what could you share with newer food allergy moms?
this was probably the hardest time in my life was in the beginning. Really, really difficult. Find a support group, find your people, ask them questions, lean on them. You need them. You got to connect. You have to. I wish I had that when we started. There just wasn't much then. Know your rights.
Hmm.
Food allergies, it's a disability. There are laws that protect you from discrimination. So definitely know what your rights are in school and, everywhere.
Yeah.
Those are important. And one more thing, I would recommend go grocery shopping alone, go by yourself without your kids so that you can read every label. You're
Yeah.
not rushed. Take your time because you're going to sit in there, Googling everything. And that was probably the hardest thing too, is trying to find safe foods. I
Right.
love that there's so much more available now, um, as far as food allergies go, because back then there wasn't. So, but definitely find your people, find your tribe.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, of
And
course.
just to wrap it up, where can we find you and follow the PAL Pantry journey? Where can we, for all the people listening, where can they find you?
Well, we just created a website, and so it's palpantry.com. And I'm also on Facebook. We do a lot on Facebook, and I just started doing Instagram. So, looking forward to putting some more content out there. Just it's busy being a mom and feeding everybody, and
Yep.
yeah. So that's what we have going so far. We'll see what happens in the spring. I'm hoping to get some more schools on board come April. So that's my goal for now.
That's great. I love it. I love the whole concept and I love what you're doing. Thank you so much for giving back to the community and
Oh,
taking your lemons and making lemonade. It's really beautiful to see. And I'm so honored to get to talk with you today. Thank you so much, Nicole. I
oh,
appreciate your
thank you
time.
for having me. This has been great. I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely.